Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. So this is Friday Fry Up, folks. It's just us, yeah? We're getting a chance to discuss lots of things. You know, I'm absolutely boiling. I played tennis today, and I realized I need my fan. Un momento, un momento. It's really warm in here. I've kept the heating on. I probably should turn it down a bit. Let me just get some breeze going here. Oh my God. Huh? The world. The world. What madness. Yeah. What? What madness. Yeah. What madness. So today I've got your questions in. Just a couple of questions actually. Denise Ferguson, but what she's shared here is very interesting. Forgive me, I'm still sweating. The fan is coming from the side. Yeah. Look at this. Wow. All right. We're going to dig into this. So first of all, my God, I'm sure you'll all agree, it's hard to keep up with it all, isn't it, folks? Let's be honest. It is hard to keep up with it all. As you know, I've been saying for years, yeah, that stuff like this would happen. I know you guys know. You've been watching me for a long time, most of you. But for those of you that are newer to my channel, and many of you are newer subscribers as well, so thanks so much as well for subscribing and joining and all of that stuff, and donating and sharing and asking questions and stuff like that. And I knew this stuff was in the pipeline, yeah, that Pluto in Capricorn, they almost swore there. Wherever Pluto is, it will show the underbelly, yeah, particularly the early degrees. Basically, in Vedic astrology, before a planet reaches around about, let's say, 13, 14, 15 degrees, it's not considered a fully matured energy. Yeah, so there's sort of like a youthful stage of a planet. Let's just say first 10 degrees, and then, you know, 10 to sort of like 20 degrees, that is adult, grown up, very, very powerful. And then let's say beyond 20 degrees, it's starting to get mature, but particularly when it starts to get to like 26, 27, 28, 29. And this is when a planet is feeling, shall we say, a bit older in the sign. It's calmed down a bit. It's got a bit more maturity, a bit more wisdom. So whenever a planet enters a new sign, it's like it's born again. It will have its own energies, but it will also be refracting the light of the Shakti, shall we say. Shakti means star power. Like imagine just the constellations here, just like behind. You see how it glows? Like the star signs, they glow with a different energy, and as a planet moves through, whereas here we are. So when I'm with clients, let me just polish this up a little bit, I talk about this. Planets are like crystals. So imagine as they move through the constellations, yeah, they will refract the light. That Shakti will pass through them, but they'll imbibe it with their own flavors. And the energy of Capricorn, as you've heard me say before, it deals with corporations, it deals with government, it deals with infrastructure, top-down structures. Pluto, this is where we get the name plutocracy from, deals with power. Pluto will always show where the power is, will always show where the scandals are, where the revelations are. When Pluto is going through sidereal Sagittarius, this is when we were having all of the scandals of the Catholic Church, yeah? We were having, remember, jihad and the beheadings, yeah, and all of that stuff, because Sagittarius can also be a very fanatical sign. Also, as well, in the latter degrees of Sagittarius, Notre Dame burnt down, yeah, and is now been reborn. Yeah, Pluto is the planet of breakdown and rebirth, breakdown and rebirth. America is going through its first Pluto return, and the Pluto return is never easy. Yeah, when you just look historically at countries that have reached that 250-year point, or that Pluto takes 248 years to go around the sun. Yeah, so we don't see this often. This is rare times, guys. This is rare. that we're witnessing this, because the last time something like this, well, this is when America's was birthed. Yeah, we know that there's different charts and stuff like that for America, but you really use that 4th of July, even though we know the Constitution and all that stuff was signed afterwards. But the 4th of July is the most famous birthday in the world, and it sticks. Yeah, it's the one that really counts. Of course, the other ones matter as well, but when you want to predict what's going on with a country, you look at that 4th of July chart, 1776. Next year, America is 250 years old, and Pluto's doing its work, revealing what? Where the corruption is. In what? In business, in government. Yeah? It's blatantly obvious now, isn't it? It's so obvious. And like I said, doesn't mean Western astrology doesn't work, but when it comes to mundane astrology is the prediction of events here on Earth School. That accuracy really matters, because you see it in life, and it's been remarkable what's happening. I know I'm going on a bit of a rant here, but well, not a rant. This is more of a slightly stream of consciousness, but my consultations recently have just been off the charts. It's just, I'm just going through these transits at the moment that is just deepening everything, and everything's getting more psychic, and oh, it's just extraordinary. But this is what I believe. I believe as the shadow gets darker, that contrast, yeah, that contrast, the light by contrast gets brighter. And didn't someone say once upon a time, it has to be dark for people to see the stars? Yeah, it's that kind of thing. This is like a call to action. This is a time for deep transformative spiritual work. This is the time for deep and maybe even awkward conversations with family members. Maybe family members that have not been spoken to for a long time, because we are in a period of critical danger, folks, and that's not hyperbole. We know this, particularly in the United States. You know, Britain, we're doing our thing. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I said, I predicted, and I said, look, Britain will welcome Duck L'Orange because it has to. Yeah, economically. Now look, Microsoft investing 30 billion in the UK, yeah, making the UK the fiefdom, yeah, of Microsoft and all the digital potential tyranny to come. But our economy is not so great. So now, yeah, Brexit and all of that kind of stuff, you know, it's not worked out, has it? Yeah, it's not worked out. Less options, like they say, beggars can't be choosers. And they know flattery works, yeah, particularly the royal touch, because no one else does it like the UK, yeah. And Duck L'Orange knows that, and he likes that, obviously. Anyway, let's see who is in the house. Denise has got some very interesting questions here, so we'll be reading those off. Let's see who is here. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Oh, my gosh. But you know what? The tennis really helps. You know, the sport helps. It helps take my mind off things. And this evening, I didn't watch any more news, and I was just like, I'm going to watch some music. Yeah. And I don't know, you guys wouldn't have been able to see it because it's based here in the UK, but if ever comes to America, you have to see it. And it's called ABBA Voyage. Basically, it's these avatars. They recreated the avatars of ABBA at their peak in 1979, but it's not holograms. They look like flesh. And the music, honestly, this could stop wars. They should just have this rolling across all over the world, irrespective of what is going on. These ABBA holograms and everyone just singing in unity. You just forget all your problems. You really do. And that is the power of music. Anyway, so let's just see here. Byrne says, I hope the USA is still a democracy in 12 months. Well, at the rate things are going, big question marks on that one, isn't it? Not to be bleak, but you know what surprised me? Not what's going on, it's the pace. The pace. That has surprised me. Brenda says, did everyone hear about the 3 bullet holes shot in ABC office in California? Oh my God, here we go. J Cat Lady saying hello to everyone. US Constitution Day, September 18th, 1787. Thank you. Very important as well. Byrne says, you know, the left in USA always running about in their pickups shooting their guns off. Oh, what? Oh, that's the right. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. And let's see here. Titan Spice said, love it when you do a tarot reading and it comes true and the timing is close. I'm trying to find spreads that are great for timing through free will, though free will impacts timing. Yeah, with the old tarot, it's not quite as good with timing. That's what I would say. Because as you know, I mean, I love both. I love both, and I feel like I do equally as well in tarot and the astrology. But the way I refer to astrology is what I call vertical time, because it's an art and it's a science, but it's very mathematic. And when, of course, you're using the NASA placement of the stars, which is what Vedic astrology does, it's honestly, guys, it's much more like a clock crossed between an algorithm. That's really what it's like. It's really what it's like. And when I look in people's charts, depending on, like I always say to my clients, when I'm reading a chart, it's like a cross between reading music, a sheet of music crossed between a Rubik's cube. And the way I've developed my own technique, and I call it 4-dimensional astrology, that's what I do. I'm not going to give away all the details here. But I will know certain things about a person's life based on the planetary placements. But the melody will vary from person to person. Yeah, that's how it works, because we've all got free will. But energy is energy. And we have, if we imagine the planets are like a crystal, but they're also like a radio station. I'll say to people, they broadcast their lowest to highest vibrations simultaneously. What we receive, we are like the antennae, yeah, for that receiving that light, that energy, that information. Remember, light has information. The ancients knew this, and this is, of course, proven as well by modern physics. But how we resonate with that energy, it depends on our personal vibration. Imagine it's very much like a tuning fork. So, of course, people that are at the higher vibrations, that are, you know, practicing, you know, love and acceptance and compassion, understanding, who are using kindness in the world, who are looking out for people, feeding people, checking in on people, or doing light work, yeah, doing light work like this. Even with Pluto, which is a very dark planet, even Pluto has its higher octaves. The higher octaves of Pluto is the willingness to transform. It's the mea culpa, yeah? It's the ability to say, you know what? I was wrong on this, which of course is one of the most difficult things for people to say, yeah? Particularly people in lower vibration, yeah? Pluto is also that transformation, turning the lead into gold. Pluto is the shaman. Really, he is the shaman. This is what I found. And in certain combinations in people's chart, it will produce shamanic energy. Yeah. Let me drink some liquid. But if a person is at a lower vibration or being calibrated to a lower vibration, Pluto, of course, can be dreadful. Genocide, rape, pillage, poison all the worlds, domination, control, excessive greed, violence, coercion, manipulation. Yeah, look at the vibration of the people in government now. Yeah, and not just the US. I don't want this to seem like a US bash. There's douchebaggery going on everywhere, and the UK ain't too far behind either. Like I said, we just get the Downton Abbey version. Let me just get into some questions and then let rip. You know, me just venting here. Not venting, I was also teaching a bit as well, wasn't I? Anyway, so 2 questions in from Denise Ferguson. Much appreciated, Denise. Thank you. Now, the first one here says, the House approved a 7-week stopgap funding bill, now in the Senate. Any funding bill requires 60 votes to pass. We'll need 7 Democratic votes. Democrats have their own bill, pardon me, restoring Medicaid cuts. Will Democrats hold strong or fall in line with Republicans to prevent an October shutdown. I think that's what it was. I did my conventional printing. I didn't have time to put it into Word. Let's just go here. I'm just looking at Denise's question on the online. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Will the Democrats hold strong or fall in line with the Republicans to prevent an October 1st shutdown? Note, the House bill includes tens of millions in additional security for lawmakers. Oh, let's take a look. Oh, let's take a look. What will the Democrats do? Are they going to support this bill? If we see, of course, cards that are supporting maybe lovers, yeah, lovers. Remember as well, I don't just associate with relationships, it's contracts, yeah, contracts, agreements, binding agreements. I also associate that with imports and exports, trade, yeah, economy, things like that, yeah, because business, good business anyways, is always about an exchange backwards and forwards. If we see the 3 of Wands or the 2 of Wands, that can talk about entrepreneurship. If we see the Tower, then we know something might be potentially shocking, or the Death card means the transformation that can't be avoided. We don't want to see the 4 of Swords, but let's just see what comes up. That's what they're going to do. Democrats. Let's have a look, see what's going on. Yeah. They're not in agreement. Yeah, they're not in agreement. If we look here, they do want to hold up that sword of truth. Yeah, they do want to hold up that sword of truth. I'll just keep my personal opinions out of it. But look, they do want to hold up this sword of truth. Yeah, so there is an element there wanting to bring it to the Republicans in some shape or form. Yeah, this is also the card of justice, but it's also can be very cutting as well. And, you know, they want to stand up, you know, for something and defend people. Of course, the Medicaid cuts are just going to be absolutely cataclysmic. There's no other word for it. However, yeah, if we look here in the obstacle position, we have the 9 of Wands. So this is a card of embattlement. Yeah, embattlement, feeling embattled, beaten around the head. Yeah, that you can see here, he's got the bandage on his head, but he's not quite given up. So what this tells me is that there are still people within the Democrats that are still prepared to fight somewhat, but they really need to go for it. Yeah, they need to go for it. If we look here, we do see the 4 of Pentacles. Now, the 4 of Pentacles is about holding on to something, yeah, not wanting to lose something. This could be about maintaining the status quo or some sense of stability. So obviously, it looks like that the Democrats here are wanting to go for stability. But, you know, what will be compromised as, do you know what I mean? Because this is a fascist regime, yeah? But look, this is talking about, this is well about playing it safe, yeah? I can only show you the card and read the card, but you don't need to be a tarot reader to see that this person here is what? Playing it safe, not wanting to let go of something, yeah? If we look here, we see the 4 of Cups. And this is a card also about decisions, but the person sitting under the tree is not liking the options on the table, yeah? So the Democrats aren't comfortable. I'm sure there will be factions within the Democrats that are just like, look, let's pull the plug. Let's shut down the government. Let's show that we mean business. But then there will be other factions the same. Well, then we'll be blamed for the, you know, the outcome, etc., etc. It's almost an impossible choice. However, there is something left field here that is an option, but may not be not being seen. Yeah. So there's options on the table for the Democrats, but they're not being seen. Yeah, like this person here. They're too lost. This person is too lost in his own thoughts to see there's an option here, yeah, because he's focused on this down here, needs to look up. So what this talks about is thinking a bit outside of the box, entertaining other options, yeah. But look at the outcome card, 5 of Wands again. So there's a lot of passion here, but look, there's not agreement. This is, I think this is the issue. Oh wow, there's 700 of you here now. Thanks so much for joining me, folks. There needs to be unity. Yeah, there needs to be unity. There needs to be a coming together, a shared message that cuts through clearly. At the moment, look, you can see here the 5 of Wands. They're wearing different tunics, so that it says to me that, again, not being quite sure what to choose, yeah, not liking the options on the table. And this, of course, is leading a bit to, you know, disunity arguments. So they need to come together and present a united front, whatever the choice is. Yeah, whatever the choice is, because do you see that? You saw me shuffling and a card fell out. I said they need to present a united front regardless of the choice. There's the card, a bit crooked and bent, but Spirit wanted this to come out. Devil card. Wow. Did you see? You saw that? That's not good. You don't want the devil energy coming around, particularly around the Democrats. There's devil energy there somewhere. Maybe this is what this conflict is. Yeah. This is the clarifier. There's a conflict. There's an attachment. There's a subtext there. Sorry, I have to say what I see. I know the vast majority of you watching are Democrats, and I'm just letting the cards speak. You make up your own mind, but you saw what happened. Yeah, that's spirit. That comes from the other realms. When you get cards like that and you shuffle and the card twists out, it's always important. Wow. Okay. And look at the base of the deck. Yeah, the card for democracy. You know what? So many of our governments have been infiltrated. Let's put it this way. Not only on the right, but the left as well. Wow, you can't really call the Democrats the left, because in comparison, what we would call the left in the UK is much further. I don't like that card showing up there. Yeah, I don't like that. But it flipped out. Yeah. So let's see here. So people were saying here, hi Huggy, thank you, Libby. Spirit reading saying, love ABBA, yeah. Ah, the power of music. Like literally, it doesn't matter what is going on in your life, you will forget it in that concert. It is astonishing. TJ says, I agree about the power of music. You have to see. If you guys are ever in London, you must come to the and see ABBA Voyage at the at this custom made. It's this custom made. You can't take any photographs when the concert starts, but it's this custom made auditoria with the lights, displays. It's just fabulous, and it's avatars. It's not them, but they look real. Oh, it's just, I love it. I've been 3 times now, 3. Thank you, Foggy, so much for your donation. Much appreciated. Let's see here. Okay, let's go to the next question. In fact, wait a minute. Let's scroll down and see what's going on with y'all. What's this? Deborah says, E. Holmes yesterday was Natal Cheeseburger Day. Let's give F45 a cheeseburger, make him walk the plank while saying something. I take Nato to a while, the pirate. Oh, look, wait, looky here. Dumpy said a few minutes ago that the government will probably shut down. Maybe that's why you remember the devil card twisted out? I didn't know this. I've just seen it, and I said, I don't like seeing that. It twisted out. You saw I shuffled and it came out. There you go. Probably to do with that. Yeah. Wow. In fact, let's just read on that. Let's just read on that. We'll Does Duck L'Orange want the government to shut down? Does Duck L'Orange want the shut down? And if cards come back, that is spirit kind of underlying and putting an exclamation mark. Yeah. Does Duck L'Orange and his cohort of darkness, do they want to shut the government down? What he wants is martial law. That's what I'm hearing. That's what he really wants. You know, when he was talking with Zelensky and he says, oh, yeah, what about your elections and stuff? And he says, oh, you know, Mr. Trump, no, we don't have elections because we're at war. And Trump was like, oh, yeah, gave him an idea. Wasn't the intention, but you could see, yeah, a few lights went off, yeah. Not many light bulbs left in there, but the one or two left there went bling, bling, bling. Does Duck L'Orange want to shut down the government? And if so, why? So why? If Trump is saying the government may shut down, what he really is saying, I want to shut the government down. That's how he says it. Or he tells it as a joke. Or he does an AI video, yeah? Which is truly his statement of intent. But let's just see what the cards say. Ah, right. It's definitely talking about him. You can't make this up. Oh, man. Oh, okay. Right, this is crystal clear. Crystal clear. Now, as you guys know, there is a certain card that I associate with Duck L'Orange or narcissistic people in general. Yeah, this card is actually a very benevolent card. If you're having a personal reading with an astrologer and this card comes up, it's normally a good sign. But as you know, I've been reading politics for years now, and each of us readers, the cards give us specific associations. So when we see a card show up, we know who it is. Look what came up first. The Star card, which you know is one of my other cards. What? Duck L'Orange, yeah? The blonde in the spotlight. The shadow of, well, I say the shadow of this card is the narcissist, yeah? And I was asking about Trump, boom. So you see, Spirit has answered immediately. We know that these cards are about his true intention. Look at this. 8 of Cups, walking away from something, yeah? Duck L'Orange, we'll see if people were able to hold his feet to the fire. We'll see if they're able to pass some resolution. If it is, it's probably because of the Democrats, but he's not interested. He actually wants to walk away because I think he sees it as more advantageous for him at this stage. Now, why? Look at the next card that comes out. The Death card. Now, it doesn't mean that, you know, Trump is going to be found necessarily at the bottom of the stairs. Although we know J.D. Vance would like it, he's still putting Vaseline there on the stairs and on the roof, just in case Grandpa wanders back up there, yeah, and has a fall. But look, the Death card. Now, the Death card will talk. It's not just literal death. Sometimes it can be, but most of the time it is about transformation. What this says to me is Duck L'Orange would quite like a government shutdown, because it's going to give him the opportunity to kill something, to end something, to transform something. Yeah, that's how I'm reading it. If you're pulling with me as well, let me know in the comments what cards you get. But that's how I'm interpreting this. It could also mean as well that obviously we know that JD has been measuring the curtains for a long time, and he's probably thinking about, you know, going into that ballroom wearing a big gown, yeah, when nobody's looking. That's my instinct, because Duck L'Orange is not going to be able to enjoy it. Who knows how long he'd be able to hold on, but the likelihood of him being able to kind of enjoy that ballroom for a long time is probably not likely. Yeah, this is why he's so keen to get on with it. He is also getting the sense of his own mortality. Duck L'Orange himself knows he does not have long left. So he's trying to move as quickly as possible, and so are the people around him. And look, the Pope is here. Someone said to me, one of my clients this week, maybe it was you, Rosa. I think it was you, Rosa. And she said something really profound. And she said, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Duc Larange would go to the Pope, who is an American Pope, and would ask for Mr. Kirk to be canonized. That's what she said. And it's just come back to me. Yeah. And look, also as well, we've had this death. Yeah. Someone, Duc Larange is using the death of someone to what? Transform something, bring something to an end. If we look here, there's another card which would be considered benevolent, but we need to also understand what this card is. Normally, when this card comes up, this is a card of balance, yeah, and recalibration, but I refer to this card as alchemy, because what is happening here, the liquid here is going up and down, not down and up and down. Here, there is one foot in the water of the angel and the other one is on the land. This is about rebalancing something. So do you see how it's all starting to fit together? Duc Larange wants to walk away from the government itself. Yeah, he just wants to be completely in charge. He's aware of his own mortality, but he's also using the death of someone else, a certain Mr. Kirk, yeah, to create transformations that basically nobody really wants or is prepared for, but he wants to do it. The Pope is here. This can talk about Duc Larange. This can also talk about Mr. Kirk. And the next question is coming up for him. But here, the Pope literally is here. And it would not surprise me if Duc Larange will ask that he be canonized. I mean, it would be absolutely ludicrous, but nothing is beyond this guy. Duc Larange and his cohorts are wanting to change the alchemy of America. In order what? So that they can win, that they can be forever victorious. Yeah, this is the card of what? Victory. It can also talk about pride before a fall. It can talk about arrogance as well. But this, in a way, they're preparing the way with these transformations. They want to prepare the ground so they feel that they can always win. This is why this is very, very dangerous times. And this is why the Democrats have to make the right move here and use what leverage they can, because the circumstances have completely changed from last time, haven't they? So bit of an ominous reading there, guys. Sorry, but as you know, I have to say what I see, yeah, as spirit comes through without me coloring the cards, yeah? All right. That was quite interesting, wasn't it? And then what Trump wants. Trump wants. All right. Let's get in another question. Yeah, and then did I click this on already? Pamela says 45 has already put out that there would be a shutdown. ABBA was my favorite band as a teen. Inspirational. What's this? I'm 35 minutes south of Boston. Oh, so you've been seeing the troops and stuff on the street, haven't you? Thank you. There's 850 of you here right now. Let's see. Thank you so much. Look at this. What's this? Old Silver says they've been cutting back labs in Medicare. Doctors aren't calling in for new ones to check medication levels or results. Yeah, because I mean, the Medicaid, for me, the Medicaid, that is the cruelest part of all of this. It's the Medicaid. It's like, wow, people will literally die because of it. TJ, they will be blamed. Yes, it's true. The Democrats will be blamed. Ah, is Afife here? Old Silver is saying hello, Afife. Afife is going to be with us. We have been in touch because, you know, look, I am digital and analog, guys. Yeah, I'm digital and analog, and there's nothing like an old school spreadsheet. Yeah, this is me. Lena, and Sheila and Lady G, and these are the guests. Yeah, and Afife should be with us. I hope I've said that right. Was it Afafe? I think 29th of October. So ways to go yet, you know, because we've got quite a good thing going on, but I'm looking forward to having her on. She's got a background in journalism. She's an excellent reader. Excellent. Very, very good work. Very good work. I watch you often. Right, let's see here. Who else is in? Hi, someone said, Lauren saying, hi, Hoagie, always look forward to the fry-up. Edelweiss says, Hogarth, what is the time to cash out and move out of the USA? How much longer can the dollar last? Look, I'm going to be frank with you. Don't wait. Yeah. If you can, don't wait. It's moving too quick. It's moving too quick. They want, I'll probably talk about this more on my financial channel, but as you ask, how long will the dollar last? It's more about they're going to digitalize the dollar. Yeah. So this is what the stable coin thingy bob is. Yeah. Stable coins are a digital currency. At the moment, it's one stable coin equals $1 for now. Essentially, what it means is that the stable coins are backed by US treasuries. Yeah. And what it means is people that buy stable coins, dollar for dollar, it means they can spend those in the crypto space. But the issuers of those coins can then put them in government bonds, earn interest and all of this stuff, and make money that way. It is a way to keep the liquidity in the market going, because people are starting to sell off US bonds and stuff like that. So it's a way to kind of keep that system basically going, because $37 trillion in debt is not sustainable, as you can imagine. So, but my advice to you, if you can make moves, don't wait. And I know not everyone, of course, can move out of America and all of this kind of stuff. Not everyone can afford to fly away, or they have, you know, British or Irish or European lineage and stuff. Who was that? That was No Name. Thanks, from South Carolina. I understand for those that aren't able to move. And of course, it's a huge thing. I mean, it's not easy to leave your home country, everything that you know. But I'll tell you something. I live in the nice part of London. There are a lot more American accents in my neck of the woods. Yeah, the Democrats, they come in here. Really are. Oh, is this what he said? Foggy said, he said, a lot of things we depend on may not be available. Oh, like that is just awful. Yeah. That's just awful, because we always know it's going to be the more extreme version of that. No Name, thumbs up, please. She's saying, thank you. Oh, Shakespeare. Yes, let's do some Shakespeare. And then we're going to take Denise's question. Let's do some Shakespeare. I don't know on who, though. You know, I've done Duck L'Orange a lot. Let's do it on the regime. Yeah, do it on the regime. See, what does Duck L'Orange think of Trump's and the regime's potential plans for lockdown? Yeah. This is what the bard thinks of this scenario, yeah, with Duck L'Orange and this axis of evil people, because they are evil. This is from Henry V. Thou art sick in the world's regard, wretched and low, a poor, unminded outlaw sneaking home. Well, it's about theft. It's really what this is about. It's about theft. And then on the next page, Henry IV, part 2, away, you moldy rogue, away. And then from here, the other page is from the extremist upward of thy head to the descent and dust beneath thy foot, a most toad spotter traitor. Isn't it interesting, yeah? Outlaws, traitors, theft, self-enrichment and theft. That's what it's all about. Right, let's get on the next question. And then if you've got any questions for me as well, let me know in the comments and I'll try and scroll down and see them. Yeah, because we still got time together. Right, okay, what's this here? Denise, so she says, I've watched 3 oh, now this is intriguing. She says, I've watched 3 channels run by ex-Marines. 2 were snipers. They've shown Kirk's unaliving event frame by frame. All 3 say the shot did not come from the roof. There are similarities between the Kirk event and Duck LaRange's assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania. A young guy on the roof, MAGA family, etc., are some of the same people involved in the planning and execution of both events. It would not surprise me at all. And was it my last Friday fry up? It's hard to keep track, guys, because there's so much. Do you see this up? Look, 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 look. This, look, the sun's fallen out. Disclosure, enlightenment, awareness. Said, was it the same energies? Yeah. Was it the same people? Wow. All right. We'd have to look at that. Those texts, and I think I also did it. I also did a video. So watch both. Maybe watch my last Friday fry up. And then I think on Monday, yes, the following Monday, I put a video up on Hogarth's financial astrology. I'll try and maybe put at the end of the end credits, whatever. But I would really recommend you look at that, because there are predictions that I made there, which I think have come true already. And I said, this don't smell right. And those texts, I don't know of any contemporaneous 22-year-old that speaks like that. Oh, my love, and blah blah blah. You're not, if you've just shot someone, you're not going to be writing in these long sentences. 22, you know, Gen Z peeps aren't writing like that. They're using emojis, and look already what with the stuff on the bullets. And listen, Saturn is with Neptune. Neptune is extremely powerful right now. Saturn is bringing the reality check to the cults, yeah, bursting the illusions and delusions. But Neptune is the co-ruler of Pisces. What Neptune does, it makes the unreal appear real. The shadow of Neptune. We've got, remember, these people in the shadow of Neptune, the higher octaves of Neptune are glorious. Arts, beauty, music, film, photography, some of the highest arts, because Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Yeah, Neptune can be exquisite, but the shadow is illusions, delusions, cults, obfuscation, gaslighting, lies, scandals. We're not getting the truth here. It's too convenient. They have to. There's that saying, never waste a good crisis. Yeah. And sometimes you have to create a crisis to get what you want with these people. It just does not smell right. And Denise has, so let's see. What's the nature of this unaliving according to these experts? They're obviously going to try and either discredit or keep that on the down low or suppress. And again, for entertainment purposes only, have to protect, you know, because they're going to come for the YouTubers next, guys. Honestly, that's what's next. And I'm already thinking, and I'm going to have to do some kind of private things where I'm together with people who buy and subscribe, and we talk, you know, coach them with their life changes, but also the world, where we can have private conversations. Well, this isn't private, this is a public conversation, but it's coming, guys. Honestly, it's coming. Why stop at Jimmy Kimmel and the other guy? You know, why stop there? And apparently they've Project 2025, they're saying they want to come after tarot readers. Yeah, what's going to be next? Burning at the stake? Honestly, I don't put nothing past this regime. Anyway, next Marines, what spirit can you tell us about their insights, their knowledge? What does this mean? What does this mean? these insights. Because there was a flight, you know, a private jet flight. There was. And it was Secular Talk that picked up on that and a few others. Let's just see. Let's see what the cards say. Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember what I said about cards coming back? Just you wait till you see what the last card is in this spread. All right, here we go. And there's, wow, there's 936 of you now. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining me. Like, let's dive in. I was just talking about Neptune, wasn't I? Illusions, delusions, obfuscation, the unreal appearing real, scandals, secrets, gaslighting. Look. This is one of my cards for Neptune, the shadow of Neptune. Here, the Seven of Cups, which deals with illusions, delusions. This is also talking about lots of choices that need to be made. But you see, it's a fantasy. What this says to me is there's people working very, very hard to make this look a certain way. Whether you did it or not, there's still a narrative here. Well, I say we know there's a narrative because they've talked about the narrative. They've shown the narrative. Now it's about, you know, eulogizing and basically making Kirk a martyr. That's really what it's about, because they're wanting to cast some kind of fantasy. The powers that be are not wanting us to see the situation clearly. I mean, it's just too perfect, isn't it? I was talking about Neptune, bang, the Neptune card comes up, the shadow of Neptune. If we look here, in the next position, we have the Wheel of Fortune. That means they are not fully in control. Whenever the Wheel of Fortune comes up, there's an element of fate and destiny. The wheel is turning. It means things in life are turning with a kind of a momentum of their own. Yeah. None of us, of course, can control time. Yeah. So there's this element here where they're working very hard and they're trying to create almost like a new destiny, a new future for America, but based on an illusion or a perception that may not be true. If we look here in the middle, weirdly enough, we get the card which is associated with children. And this can be a card of nostalgia, putting everything in the past. But you know what this says to me? No one's really talking about Epstein right now, are they? Yeah. And the kids, or the girls, or the boys, yeah, that were children at the time. Adults now, if they're still alive. Yeah. Interesting that, isn't it? Not a word. And do you remember when I read on Duc Larange, he had the Three of Cups, when I read after what happened, and it was like, whew, oh, at least we're not talking about my old friend. Yeah. But this is also as well, I think this is what they're trying to, also, this is part of what the illusion and delusion is. Yeah. We're going to take you back to a time where you didn't have to worry about anything. Yeah, we're going to get rid of all those bad people online. Don't you worry. Yeah, you can return to innocence again. It's a whole pile of BS. That's why they got rid of Kimmel. Yeah, free speech, rubbish. It's not free speech. It's what they want. Yeah, that's what this is all about. It's all about control. But they have to present to their base that it's something else. But anyone who's switched on can see through it. Anyway. We look here, we got the Queen of Wands. Now this is interesting. I think this is the wife. CK's wife. Why? Because the Queen of Wands is a very passionate, it's a very passionate card, but it is, she's associated with bringing groups together, bringing people together. Yeah. This can also talk about Ukraine as well. Ukraine is not a factor in here but there's the sunflowers here. But anyway, the point is that this could be a prominent woman comes to the fore to talk about this. The logical one, of course, would be C. Kirk's wife. Yeah. But it could be a Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's gone quite a bit quiet, actually, which is quite interesting, isn't it? She was making a few statements. She's kind of gone a bit quiet now. Well, I don't know. Maybe she said something recently, but I'm sure she's watching her own back. And look at the outcome card, yeah, which is kind of encapsulating what this is all about. Remember, the Marines were looking at this. Look who's back. Yeah. The devil. This is dodgy as you know what. Dodgy, 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 dodgy. I always top and tail. You can top and tail the reading, and that gives you really what the whole thing is. They are trying to what? Create an illusion and delusion for nefarious reasons. It's about domination, power, control, greed, attachment. This is also my card for psychopathy as well, and just general wickedness. That death is being co-opted. And dare say, I will probably say instigated. I mean, it was obviously instigated, but not, you know, the suspect may not be the full suspect, or there's something not right. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks. And those texts for me were just like, nah. 22-year-olds don't write like that. Oh, here she is, touched by the tarot and beyond. Do your thing, Hogarth. You're on fire. Oh, thank you, Afife. Afife. Much appreciated. I'm so looking forward to having you on the show. Really, I am. All right, let's have a scroll through. Let me know your thoughts on that, guys. You saw the reading. You saw the reading. You saw how the cards came out. You know, my job is just to, I have to be like a piece of crystal and try my best not to judge, let the meanings come forth, obviously based in the context of what we potentially know already. Yeah, to try and get that accurate interpretation. But the wife might be pushed there, made more prominent. Maybe she wants to be more prominent. You know, she's obviously been there in the background at the very least. Let's see here. Bern is saying the clock is ticking on Diaper Boy. I've got my funeral clothes ready. Yeah. Kaylee says, wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's yeah, someone's saying here, this Pope is on to Trump, calls him the Antichrist. Oh yeah, he's definitely got that energy there. But he's a lightning rod. Oh, look at this. JC says, Pope gave a sermon yesterday about the dark forces behind Trump. Yeah, like you've heard me say before, Trump is wicked. We know this. But I said the people around him are worse. They're the ones who are coming up with all these ideas. You know, the one that Gollum, yeah? You know the one that looks like Gollum. That one is a sick puppy. That one, and Teal, and they asked, you know, they asked Peter Thiel, like, you think humanity's worth saving, right? And he was like, and the guy was like, what, you can't answer the question? Like, that was a big hesitation there. Yeah, I won't play it here because it might demonetize the video, but look it up. Yeah, if you put if you type in Peter Thiel hesitates about whether or not to save humanity, if you just put that in YouTube, you'll see it. Not a long clip, but it speaks volumes, says a lot. These people don't even think human beings are relevant. Yeah, as dreadful as, you know, Putinska and Xi, I called him Xi Jinping. Yeah, could be. They're speculating about what, living to 150 years old. Yeah, so they can have dominion over forever. But at least they have the concept of dominion and people being there. With Teal, he just sees humanity as irrelevant, and that is, people who are like that can commit the most atrocities of all. And that's who's around Duck L'Orange, and they're using him, and You know, like he's this lightning rod. Yeah, he's this lightning rod for all this anger, angst, and he's the Trojan horse. He's the Trojan horse. Yeah. What's this here? Tartan Spice, $10,000 not enough to move out. No, that's true. Could be a nice getaway though. What's this? Crystal Blues says, I thought it was hard to move to another country. They don't want immigrants either, especially old immigrants. Oh, yeah, that's a bit of truth there. Let's see here. Oh, and someone's here saying Libby. Is Libby here as well? Well, I saw Libby written. Are you here, Libby? Ah, Brenda Allen's saying, hi, Libby. Oh, so you must be here. Let's have a look. Oh, and thanks so much. Is that another donation? Thank you. Love how the readers can see through them while the media and the fourth state has failed us. Thank you. Yeah, because they're co-opted, unfortunately. The tentacles of corporate power reach far and deep, folks, far and deep. Yeah, someone's saying here, JC Kirk had a bulletproof vest. The shooter aimed at the vest, but it bounced. Seems like it was meant to be staged. Oh, yeah. Someone's saying, what do you see happening in Gaza? Well, I don't need to read cards on that because I know what they want to do. They want to just carry on with what they're doing, sweep it all, level it, hoover it out, and then build the Trump Gaza / Riviera. Yeah. And a certain someone, a former PM of this country called Mr. Blair, is also there behind the scenes trying to make it happen. It's so disgusting, guys. It's just so dark. It's just so horrific. You know, it's just so horrific. But Pluto does talk about things like that. Really, it does. It's that genocide, pillage, you know, those that resonate at those lower levels. Yeah, those that resonate at those lower levels. Remember, there are higher levels, even to Pluto as well. Someone's saying here, the texts were so fake. Yeah, I just don't, Rachel's saying, I don't believe them for a minute. And then, there you are. There you are. So Libby's here. Magasis Tarot says the texts were not written by a 22-year-old. Yeah, it's just, and all Silver saying false flag. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Tammy's saying, I agree with you, Hogarth. The texts do not sound they came from him. Yeah. JC saying the texts were fake. So look, we're all in agreement there. It just stinks, doesn't it? A higher girl says, I have a 22-year-old son. They don't speak or write like that. Yeah, they don't. They just don't. It's not in their lexicon. It doesn't mean that they can't speak, but that's not how, especially after you've shot someone on the roof, you're going to be talking in long sentences. You're going to be panting. You're going to be running somewhere. You know, you're going to be ducking for cover. You're going to be like, shit. You know, it's nah. It stinks. And you saw the devil card was there as well. Let's put here. Chris Killian says, great theory about the text. Someone put in ChatGPT to create a dialogue from people in their 20s. ChatGPT created a dialogue from the 1920s. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Cash has clearly got no imagination. Yeah, could be. Yeah, Kirk had a bulletproof vest. The bullet hit the vest but bounced. Feels staged, not meant to kill him, just blame the Dems. Yeah, it could be that. Could be that as well. Remember as well, Uranus is going back to the star Agol, which is literally means losing one's head. Yeah, losing one's head. And unfortunately, there's been horrible, you know, reports of like 2 lynchings in Mississippi. One black guy and one a homeless guy, something like that. They're saying, oh, they hung themselves. They hung themselves. Yeah, one had broken legs and arms. How can you hang? It's just, Anyway, let's just see here. What's this here? Deborah saying, a law professor take recordings to a short on the oh that's rich channel. Thanks. Oh, I can't. Sorry, I can't understand that. Oh, look at this. Chris says Bibi invited him to Israel right before, and he declined because he felt threatened, and he turned down the money. It is alleged, for entertainment purposes only here, it is alleged that Mr. Kirk was offered $150 million and he said no. And there was also an argument 2 weeks before where he was invited to a dinner. I can't remember who it was, and it's probably best that I don't remember because they scan through everything now, guys. It's just, you think YouTube is free. Trust me, it's not. Everything is. And, but anyway, and this was a very, very powerful donor, yeah, with, you know, the old APAC. And Charlie was like, no, I'm not changing my message. That's a very dangerous thing to do, yeah? Very dangerous thing to do. But anyway, let's see here. Raymond says, imagine if you will a cult so depraved that one of their own kills one of their own for not being one of their own enough. Yeah, Dragon. I don't know who Dragon is, but Mignon says, we're not going back. The harder it is, the closer we are to freedom. Oh, that's a good point. All right, any questions, folks? Any questions? Let's scroll down. Yeah, Mad Hog said the cruelty and chaos that has been unleashed by this evil US administration is beyond belief. Yeah, it's beyond belief. It is beyond belief. And it's like, oh, Tatum says, yes, Bernie for president. All right, so let's just see here. Let me just see in the time minutes. Oh, crikey, I've seen the time. It's an hour already, sorry. Here. Here's a quick question here. California Capybara says, will we have a fair election? Oh, will there, at this rate, will there be elections at all? You know, Duck L'Orange doesn't want them. Right, so I'm going to read on this. Let's hope I get positive cards, yeah? Let's hope I get positive cards. Oh. Quick one here, Kelly. Thank you so much for your donation. Do you think Mossad was involved in Kirk's death? I'm going to say possibly, for entertainment purposes only. He's not the first asset that they've destroyed. This is what these people don't realize. When you take their money, they own you. Yeah. When you are seen as an asset, you are an asset to be used and exploited and destroyed when they are done with you. This is what these people don't realize, unfortunately. And yes, he was a public prominent broadcaster, but that is not protection. Yeah, a bulletproof vest is not enough. Not when you're dealing with people that really want to get with you. That's why you need the government behind you, yeah, FBI behind you, or whatever. You need stuff behind you. These people are very vulnerable, you know, particularly when you're putting yourself out there in public and all of this kind of stuff. So, oh Christ, I forgot what the bloody, well, we have free elections. All right, let's read that and then I've got to totter off. Will there be free elections? And as you guys know, if we have cards come back, then this is spirit making a point. Let's see, will there be free elections? Yeah. All right, I just have to say what I say. I'm not pleased. If we look here, we have the Fool card. Now, the Fool card isn't just about being foolish, yeah? It talks about new starts, fresh new beginnings. The Fool card has the freedom to move anywhere in the pack. Yeah, I've actually been reading a book on tarot, and I've just, you know, I need to get back to it. Maybe I'll read it tonight, read it again tonight. Anyway, so it's not just about literally being foolish, but it can also be talking about taking chances, taking risks. If we look here, you see the Fool is looking up and out. Yeah, he's not looking at what is below because he believes that the universe will catch him. Yeah, he believes that whatever happens is meant to happen. And here you have the little white dog. The dog is the companion, but the dog could also be warning the fool about the leap that is about to happen. So what this says to me, now remember, this is the context of this is the elections. Oh, wow, there's 1,000 of you here now. Thank you so much, everyone. The context here is the elections. Will they happen? So what this says to me, that there is an element of something unprecedented, maybe something that's never happened before. Yeah, because the fool is the start of an unknown journey. He is the first card. And in many ways, he's the last. He's the Alpha Omega card. So there might be something unprecedented about these elections, yeah, that we may not be able to even anticipate. Look at the next card. The Magician. Now, you know, this is my Elon Musk card. It even looks like him, yeah? A better looking version of him, but, you know, put him, Elon, in a robe, he could pass for the Magician. But in the positive, it can talk about willpower, it can talk about success, yeah? But this is also a card of leaving no stone unturned. The shadow of this card is very deep, because this can talk about deep manipulation, and it's showing up in the obstacle position to the fool. So something that's never been tried before, an element here of deep manipulation. If we look here, the middle card, working hard on something. They are working hard. This could be the redistricting. But remember as well, the Dems have this as an option as well. The rules might be a little bit more difficult. But, you know, like I said before, Gavin's not holding back. And I've said, you've heard it here on my channel, I said he will either be the president of the United States or he will be the president of his own country. He is not giving up. And remember, he's got Jupiter conjunct the star Regulus, which makes that Jupiter 100 times more powerful. Dark Laurent has Mars conjunct the star Regulus, which makes his Mars 100 times more powerful. This is why he's still sticking around with even all the junk food and all of that stuff. But anyway, they're working hard, yeah? So what this says to me is the darker forces are working hard to try and do something unprecedented and manipulate, yeah? Working hard on that. But you can also say that democratic blue states will also be working hard. I think they're gonna have to do their own gerrymander thing. They're gonna have to. Now the last two cards I think say it all. The High Priestess, which we know is the card of what? Machinations, secret agendas, things going on behind the scenes. But as I was saying to a client the other day, when it comes to geography, this card means only one place on Earth. One place on Earth. And we're asking about the elections. And you'll see here, these two pillars, yeah, the black and white pillars, refer to the Temple of Solomon, the first temple. We all know that where that is. And just in case you weren't sure, you see here, she's holding a Torah. I'm not going to say the name of the nation, but you guys can work it out, yeah, because there's all sorts of stuff going on and they filter all of this stuff, yeah. I'll see if I'll be able to monetize this afterwards, yeah, fling some adverts onto, you know, try and recompense for our free content that we put out there. Now look, the outcome card, the moon. Nothing is clear by moonlight here. The dog and the wolf. The dog represents the tamed, obedient nature of society, or what it is required to function, you know, in society as a stable person, as it were. But the wolf is talking about the wild side, the untamed side that wants to be free. I associate the lobster coming out of the water with the deep subconscious, and the lobster for me is the id, and you see it goes towards the wolf. So this is talking about those more carnal instincts, but nothing can be seen clearly by moonlight. The challenge with this card is to walk between the two pillars of truth, navigating the dark space to try and walk the path of virtue, but it's difficult because it's dark. The moon, of course, can also talk literally about lunatics, but it can also talk about instability. The moon is inconstant. It waxes and it wanes. And I mean that in all affection. Yeah, I'm Cancer rising. Yeah. Us Cancerians, you know, we're very sensitive. We wax and we wane. Yeah. So the only way I can interpret this is at the very least, these elections will be manipulated. At the very least. I've pulled 5 cards and 4 of them are major arcana. This is a big deal, guys. This is a big, big deal. There's going to be an attempt to try something that's never been done before, yeah, by the powers that be that wish to maintain their control. They're working hard on this, yeah, the 8 of Pentacles. There is collaboration from a certain country, yeah, and nothing is seen clearly by moonlight. But if I read it backwards, if I go the other way, in that murkiness, the Democrats need to also have their own agenda as well. They are beholden to a certain agenda of another country, but they need to work hard for democracy. They need to use everything in their power to try and get the result to go their way. And in order to do so, it's going to require courage and a leap of faith. Yeah. These are historic times, guys, historic times. And we do have free will. But in order to get some kind of, still have some semblance of democracy going forward with the pace that these guys are using, the Democrats are going to have to do something completely different. The bog standard way of doing things are not going to work anymore, not with those cards. Yeah. And I don't mean that as a critique. I just mean like it's obvious. Yeah. The approval rating is like 34%. How can they be polling lower than the Republicans? I mean, lower than Duck L'Orange. You know, this is a problem. Yeah. So anyway, I will leave it there. I hope that gave you a little bit of hope, though. But the Democrats really have to fight. Yeah, this is really about fighting. There's a lot at stake here. Thank you to everyone who, of course, who donated. Let's see. Oh, I've got let's say another thank you here. Marianne, thank you so much for your kind donation. Let's keep our eyes peeled, guys. But I'm sure you all agree, it all stinks, doesn't it? Yeah. And then someone's saying here, question, what did the Brits think of Melania when she visited? We don't really talk about her that much. She looked elegant, and she was wearing a very rather striking yellow dress when she went to the dinner, but she's hardly said anything. You know, Melania's doing her own stuff. She's got her own plans. But anyway, I will leave it there. Yes, and I'll leave it there, otherwise I'm going to drag on for too long. It's already 12 minutes over. Thank you everyone so much for joining me. Let's see how things go. Yeah, but the Democrats have really got to work hard and pull it out, because the other guys will stop at nothing. And there was over 1,000 of you here with me this evening, so I'm going to leave it there. Bye for now. Big love, everyone. And thank you as well for Libby and Afife showing up in the comments as well. I'm looking forward to having you guys back on the show. All right. See you soon, folks. Bye-bye.